Before cancer diagnosis was happy and relaxed.
Yeah, happy. It was, we knew there was a future. So there was more of a carefree hope. You never really didn't think about it, right? So it was, and we never took anything for granted. So we were the type of parents that already loved every minute of our kids.
I used to journal the first for the intention of giving them those journals when they left home. So the first time Addison saw a ladybug or the first time she put her feet in the grass, we were those kind of parents. We are those kind of parents. It's just different now.
Different now.
We found out about Addison's cancer diagnosis when she was 7. We actually found out on her 7th birthday. She had been having intermittent double vision for about 6 months when she had fevers or just had colds, and something just didn't feel right to me as her mother. So I kept pressing, and they agreed to give us a precautionary MRI. It was just in case. One
of the worst days of our lives getting that news. It was news of, because of the type of cancer it is, there's no cure.
I picked up the phone and it was the doctor, and they said, "You need to come back to Hershey, we found something." And I said, "It's her birthday and her birthday party's in a few hours, can we wait?" "No, it's an emergency, get back here now." So we went back, and my mom and I met with the doctors while Addison had some preliminary blood work and things, and I was told to go home and enjoy her, that this would be her last birthday.
As a parent that, child is diagnosed with cancer, you never want to give up hope. Even if you're told that there is no cure, but you still never want to give up hope, and you want to keep searching and finding and believing in research. And that's part of why we are, behind this charity and behind this foundation, is because we want to help other kids, and to keep that hope and have them have a chance and help with research and find a cure, so they don't have to go through what we went through.
She had tiny tumors in her brainstem. It makes it inoperable and very difficult to treat.
You can't take the bad out with taking the good out. So that's one of the biggest challenges with that type of cancer, because of where it is. Brainstem controls everything in your body. So it controls your walking, your speaking, your breathing, eating, yeah, everything. But the real horror of this particular pediatric cancer is, because it's in the brainstem, what happens is slowly everything that your body does starts to shut down. So at first, her speech went, and if you can imagine, at this point, she's now 8 years old, and for an 8-year-old girl to start losing her speech, eventually, first it was slurred, and then, she couldn't, at the end, she couldn't talk at all. And we had
She wanted to isolate herself and not be with any friends because she couldn't talk to them and couldn't have play dates like a regular 8-year-old could. So she would isolate herself, and she was very bothered by how she looked because the steroids changed how she looked.
They made a lot of swelling, so she puffed up. And
that was the worst.
Her voice, and then her balance. So she stopped being able to walk because she lost balance. She lost the ability to eat because of her motion control. So we had to feed her. We had to switch to liquids. And then, choking just because of not being able to swallow.
She lost the use of her left hand, and she was left-handed.
She was left-handed, so
her left side didn't work.
Yeah, and so you learn the strength of a child and how they can cope and how they can get through it, persevere. Mm-hmm. But as a parent, it's the hardest. I don't know any other way, but it's the hardest thing to see your child lose everything slowly, one by one, until eventually then it's, she can't breathe anymore, and it's
I think the really hard part of it too is, the radiation and how hard that was, knowing that we were putting her through this and it wasn't going to save her life, or holding her down for chemo and wasn't going to save her life. But we had to try.
Why are you doing this?
Why are we doing this?
help other families, help kids. You don't want other children to have to endure the type of treatment that Addison did for lack of a life. She went through so much, and living without her is, it's like learning to adapt without a limb. Every day I reach for something and am reminded that that limb's not there. And the first thing that I think of when I open my eyes in the morning is she's not here, and watching other kids grow up and or her friends, it's just hard, and you're reminded constantly of what should be.
Michael Mosier Defeat DIPG is focused on the whole cure aspect of it, and they've assembled this amazing scientific advisory board of top-notch medical practitioners, doctors all across the country that are just at the top of their game, and the whole purpose is raise money and have these medical practitioners evaluate other researchers that are looking for cures, and they bring what their plan is, is basically a grant application to these medical practitioners, and the scientific advisory board picks then what they believe has the best chance of success. So then that money goes directly towards those researchers that our advisory board believes. So it's not us figuring out, oh, we think this will work. It's real, the best of the best doctors figuring out what they think is, and that's what we want to do. We want to put our efforts towards finding a cure.
So there's less kids to take care of.